Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another episode of Truly Bedrock Season 1. It is episode 19 today, and our goal for today's episode is to get a fully functional raid farm and improve upon our raid farm design as well. And of course, as you guys know, raid farms are extremely overpowered, and we've been just kind of putting off that project because we've been doing a lot of work around our village, and this place is finally coming along. I feel pretty happy with it at this point in time that we can go do a couple other projects in the world. For instance, last episode we just set up like these automated security gates. These things actually go down and close at nighttime, and then they open up at the daytime as well. If you haven't seen that episode, definitely check it out. We did a lot last episode, even more than just the redstone. So there are a couple of things that we need to do before we actually start on the raid farm in this episode. For instance, we need to actually gather up all the materials for it, and we also need to find an outpost as well. And an outpost might be very, very rare on the server since a lot of other people have already built raid farms. So we need to find ourselves an outpost. We might have to go fairly far out for that, but hopefully we don't have too much trouble with it. And this is just the glass that we need for the outpost. Gonna turn that all into dark glass because I want this thing to actually look, rather fancy. I would appreciate it if it looked somewhat nice. I'm notorious for building just completely garbage looking builds, especially my redstone. So I'm gonna at least try it with this one and building with some more posh and fancy materials. So let's get the rest of that dark glass smelted down. Okay, so a little bit of resource gathering has been done, and we have all of the materials that we should need to actually build up the raid farm. All the wood that we need for signs, all the building blocks, all the tridents for the trident killers, and probably a lot more glass than we need. The only difficult part is actually going to be finding a outpost and also finding a villager as well. That's why we have the bed. You gotta have a village at your pillager outpost, otherwise none of the raids ever start. But one thing real quick that we did do in between episodes was actually do a bunch of resource gathering. As you can see, we spent about 2 hours just, in a cavern mine, just mining out all the blocks of Haste 2 Beacon, and we got a fair amount of loot from that. Honestly, not too shabby in the slightest. So at this point, we're pretty much ready to go to head out to our pillager outpost. However, there is one small announcement that I do want to make before we actually go searching and exploring the world. There's going to be a new series on the channel starting this Sunday, or basically the day after this video comes out, Sunday the 7th of July, and it's going to be a little miniature one-off series, so try it out. It might not be your cup of tea at first. You might not like the general style of it. However, it is going to be very fun, very interesting, and very tense and heart pounding as well. It's honestly really fun. I had a great time recording it. It is going to be Minecraft, and it is going to be multiplayer as well. So, take that with a grain of salt. It's going to be a fun time. However, do try it out for a couple of episodes. There's going to be 9 episodes in total, and the episodes are going to be coming out every other day on the channel. So you guys will have a couple of double upload days. You'll have a couple days where it's just that series. But mostly, it's just going to be an excellent time. I've never done this kind of series before, but it actually turned out very, very well, and we did exceptionally well, too. So definitely check it out. It's honestly, it was just super fun. I can't recommend it enough. If it does very well on the channel, you guys might see some more, or maybe we'll start doing stuff like that on live streams. I don't know. It's just a good time. Also, because this series was all recorded at one time, basically over the course of an entire day, we are going to be able to get ahead on a lot of different projects because, that's just 9 videos recorded all at one time, which is really, really awesome. That is going to help me get ahead on a lot of different stuff. That's going to help me launch our Patreon realm that we're going to be launching here soon. It's going to help me do a lot of bigger projects here on Truly Bedrock. So again, the series is going to be launching this Sunday, the 7th of July. Do check it out. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. The ending of the season is just absolutely jam-packed, heart-pounding action, and it's going to be really fun. On a different note, you can actually crouch to place this redstone ore. I know you guys have been having a lot of issues with that. You see how you can place it like this and it just disappears? Yeah, you gotta crouch to place it. Something I literally just randomly discovered right now. If you crouch and place the block, it doesn't go away. All right, so now it is time to actually find ourselves some pillager outposts. I did a little bit of searching around in a creative version of the world, just, you know, taking the world seed, creating a new copy. And what are you doing? You're dancing around. Is it a dance party time again? I think so. Anyway, moving on from that, what we need to do is actually go to the north kind of west side of the world, because that's where all the outposts I found were. And we're gonna try and see which ones are claimed and which ones are not. All right, so here is Tiz Tom's outpost farm over here, or raid farm as it is more commonly known. So his is at, you know, 1100 by 400, so this one is definitely claimed. From here, we gotta head north to actually find a couple more outposts, and you can actually see there's a lot of snow. Wow, there's a lot of mobs in these unloaded chunks. That is the donut effect in place right there for you, with mobs and not despawning. Anyway, getting sidetracked, we need to head north by a couple thousand blocks to possibly find one that is not claimed. Aha, so here's one that is not taken actually. This is kind of cool. So this one would be mildly okay. I don't like that it has a river next to it. And honestly, the terrain around here isn't too wonderful. However, it doesn't look like it's been taken. We'll take that bottle of enchanting and a random tripwire hook. These things have the best loot in all of Minecraft, as you can clearly tell. But do we actually have any pillagers in here? It doesn't look like... Oh, there's an arrow. Okay, so apparently someone has been here before. And apparently these guys are just gonna kill each other. Cool. So we're gonna mark this one as unclaimed on our little list, but I still wanna find another one that is potentially better than this. Oh wow, so this one isn't taken either. I was really expecting this one to be taken because like this is kind of a prime area, big flat area. And honestly, this is just kind of nice in general. People have been here, however. You can see that there's Enderman. Totally just gonna look at them right in the eyeballs. They won't mind. But I am curious, did anyone actually take the loot from this? There's a crossbow. That's totally the amazing loot that we came here for. But it doesn't look like this has really been claimed. I don't see any signs or anything. So cool. I do have one more on my list that I think would be potentially better than both of these. And here we go. This is actually my favorite one out of all the other ones that I've seen. And honestly, it's just kind of pretty and it's kind of beautiful. It is in a cold biome, so we have to do a little bit of extra work for this farm. However, I really like this one. So if we jump down here, people have been here before. However, it doesn't look claimed. I don't think anyone's gonna mind if I actually build a farm here. If they do, there is clearly a couple other available ones in this area of the world. So yeah, I think this is where we're actually gonna set up shop for our little raid farm. And can I just say that's a really cool picture right there? Okay, so first order of operations, we gotta get ourselves some actual like bodyguards over here. As you can see, there's a lot of bad guys. And we're just gonna try and, oh my god, there's so many bad guys. Build some defenses, turn it into an instantly dead snow golem. I'm sure he appreciated that. Dang it, I just want to build some snow golems. Get out of here, guys. Oh my god, I'm actually about to die from this. This is a very hostile area. These strays are not helping either. Okay, come on. Come on, snow golem. You got this. You got this, snow golem. Do the thing. Kill everybody. Because you can totally do that. I believe in you. Okay, so I think Jerry needs a little bit of a friend. We're gonna give him a friend real quick, and there we go. We got Jerry and we got Daniel over here, and both of these guys are gonna be defending our territory indefinitely, and they're gonna do an excellent job. Now that I got these guys as bodyguards, and none of these strays wanna mess with me. Yeah, that's right. You guys stay away. I got some bodyguards. However, I did go ahead and actually make the top of the outpost dark, so pillagers actually require darkness to spawn on Bedrock Edition, which is probably a bug, but I mean, who can even tell at this point? So what I did is I completely blocked off that entire upper area, and then of course I put the glass panes in there as well. The glass panes is how we find the actual spawning spot. So if you're not aware, on Bedrock Edition, all mobs, especially structure spawns, spawn on the northwest corner of the block. So say this was the block that they actually spawn on, they're gonna spawn in between these 4 blocks right here. So glass panes is actually very convenient. And as you can see, we actually got a fair few pillagers in there, which is really nice. Apparently I forgot a glass pane right there, that's fine. So yeah, those guys are on the northwest pane right there. And that means that this block right here is actually gonna be the spawning spot. So that means that we need to go ahead and break that block and then mark that with something special. I'll go ahead and just use some dark oak for that. And there we go. We have officially found the spawning space for this outpost. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So we don't even need a map for this because the moon just rose, and that is of course east, meaning that this way is north. And now I just went ahead and removed all the glass panes in here just to kind of prove the point. You can really see that they all spawned right in that one corner. Very, very convenient. And these guys are spawning extremely quickly as well. Haven't seen any ones with the banner yet, but those guys do have a pretty low chance of spawning. There's actually like a ton in there. That's awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue building up my raid farm. If you haven't seen my raid farm tutorial, that's actually really surprising because that thing has just a few views. I'm actually really excited for that to about break 1 million. However, yeah, we're going to be building up that same design, but improved a little bit. So let's just kind of crack on with it, shall we? So I've been AFKing at this farm for a little while now, and I have not gotten a single pillager with a banner to give me bad omen. And I put on a little bit of a, entity x-ray pack to find mobs underground just to see if the mob cap was taken up in this area. Meanwhile, literally my first ever random pillager raid has summoned in over here with a Johnny. Those guys are supposed to be removed. Apparently that hasn't caught up to Bedrock. But yeah, these guys, apparently they do actually, oh my god, they hurt. Apparently these do actually exist on the Bedrock edition. I was not aware of that. I just yeah, apparently they actually do exist. My god, stop it. You guys hurt. But yeah, as you can see, we finally got bad omen from that super rare encounter. Most people think that those don't exist. I didn't think that those existed on Bedrock. Apparently they're just so rare. But you can see that we have some pillagers inside of our actual kill chamber. Mind the x-ray, it's not really that cheaty. You can see that there's some in there. There's just none with banners, which is really concerning. I have no idea what's up with that. So hopefully it's just like a mob cap issue. Okay, so apparently it is summoning the actual guys with banners, but it's just super slowly doing that. And I haven't seen the little bad omen thing pop up on screen. Okay, well, I guess I can turn off the stupid x-ray then. I was really curious as to why this isn't working. Apparently it's just extremely, extremely slow. So if ever there is a lot of lag on the Truly Bedrock server, you know who to blame. It is TizTom. Look at the sheer amount of animals in this area. There's gotta be at least 100 mobs over here. I'm gonna go ahead and kill literally everything that I see and just collect as much food as I'll need for an entire lifetime. I could open a shop in TizTom's name with the sheer amount of actual mobs that are over here. Look at this. It keeps on going. I just randomly came over here just to get rid of my bad omen effect, just because I kind of wanted to, and I didn't have any milk, but then I found a cow over here, so it all worked out. All right, there we go. We actually just got our first bad omen properly from this thing now. I didn't quite catch it on camera, I don't think, but I did go ahead and get rid of my bad omen over at TizTom's actual raid farm, and we just got it again. So if we go down here and check our little chest real quick, we should see that we have, yes, we do, another banner. Look at that, very, very nice. So one of the main improvements to this farm that we're doing is actually having the kill chamber for the outpost be right underneath the spawning spot. So if we go back up above here, you can see that we just have a piston pushing over the actual outpost guys, the bannermen, if you will. And yeah, they basically just spawn right here on this corner. They get pushed over, they fall down into there, and that's basically it. We then have our trident killer, and this is going to help speed things up significantly since we're not going to be sending them up a massive bubble column all the way to the top of the farm. So the only thing I've built up besides that kill chamber is actually this scaffolding tower going up. So let me explain this really quick. The main spawning floor, that birch floor right there, is actually, of course, at Y85, and then this first little platform of scaffolding is the minimum distance that you need to be from that spawn spot to have more guys spawn in your actual outpost and give you more bad omen. So going up to the top of this thing, this is the maximum distance that you can be from that spawn spot to actually have guys spawn there again. So this is where we're actually going to have our kill chamber and where all the raids will actually be getting farmed at. So we'll have our actual big spawning platform above this. We'll have a villager up there and a village as well. and then we'll figure out storage or something. I might just like launch all the items down to the ground and have all the storage down there. I think that would be really fun. But otherwise, yeah, this thing is coming together pretty slowly so far because I did want to test out actually getting that bad omen. So just starting on the actual main platform for all of our raids to spawn on, and I just found out something extremely convenient. You can actually place blocks magically in the air, but that also works with signs. Of course, you know, this is just a standard Bedrock Edition feature. However, was not aware that you could do that with signs, and man, does that make this entire process way easier to do in survival, because this thing takes like a couple hundred signs to actually keep in all this water and to keep all the raids from actually spawning on this entire platform, or like spawning off the edges of it. The raids spawn on the northwest corner of the block as well. It's a giant mess to work around. Honestly, raids in general are very broken in what they can spawn on. So lucky that they don't spawn on signs. But yeah, this thing just takes a while to build. I feel like it's a sign. All of the signs are now in place, and that was such a terrible pun, but I'm not sorry for it. That's what you get on this channel, just a bunch of bad puns all the time. But yeah, all these signs are now in place. It might look kind of complicated, but honestly, it's just 4 different layers. There's one layer right there. The next layer is on top of that one. The third layer is on the back side of the second layer, and the fourth layer is standing right on top of the third layer. And we need to do this so that the water is actually inside of this farm and the correct way pushing into the platform, because if it's not in this exact way, then the villagers and the pillagers and the beasts and all of those guys will fall off the platform. And dang it, this one has a typo. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, we just need to place in this ice, and when we punch this out with a fortune, it should all turn into water sources, right? Yes, it does. Very nice. Now, there's one more thing that we're going to need to do here, and that is actually put another layer of signs inside of these water sources to prevent them freezing, because of course we are inside of a cold biome. So yeah, I just need to see, look at that, they're already refreezing. Stop that. Put another layer of signs in it and it's just fine. That'll waterlog them, and then that will prevent them completely from freezing. Okay, so it is now the next day and the raid farm is looking pretty solid so far. We don't really need to do too much else to it at all. However, we do need to get a village up there, or a villager up there at the very top of it. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, that's so difficult. And honestly, it's not too big of a deal, especially because when you build this normally, you got a bubble column going literally all the way to the top of it. So really not a big deal when you got that bubble column. But we don't have that bubble column, as you can see it clearly. So we're gonna have to do some extra shenanigans. Either way, not gonna be too difficult. So lucky for us, we do have 2 villages in this area. We got one village over here, which is just in this super densely packed forest. And there is no way that I am in any way, shape, or form taking a villager through this forest to our raid farm. That just sounds like the worst thing in all of existence. That is the worst case situation right there. Instead, we're going to go for the slightly further away village that is over here. I feel like this is probably about 200 or so blocks away, but it's right on this river. So I just quickly noticed a couple of weird things about this village. First of all the snow layers just like land right on top of the actual path blocks, and there's like a gap there. I think that's a little bit weird, but whatever. The more interesting thing is this over here. We got a floating snow layer on top of like an invisible fern or invisible bush or something. It's really strange. It's got like the full block hitbox. I have no idea what it is, but it's invisible if you look down at the bottom of it. So that's kind of strange, but also really cool at the same time. And I don't think it's a fern, because these things don't have a full hitbox. This is like a full-on hitbox. Possibly very difficult to see on YouTube. So you might think that leads on boats are extremely useless. However, they're actually super useful for everything having to do with moving mobs. Like, for real, this is just amazingly useful. So we're gonna get this guy to this river over here, and then I think we're just gonna kind of boat him along all of this ice, which is gonna be really fun. That should be fairly quick. This river actually goes all the way to the raid farm, which is kind of the reason why I went for this, village in the first place. Okay, here we go. As you can see, this is gonna be way quicker than taking this guy through the forest. We just gotta make sure that we don't actually end up in the water, because that is a whole hassle. You gotta break the boat, and of course, there is no actual ice going all the way across. Well, dang it. Okay, I guess I'll have to just like use the boat normally, then that's no fun. Sometimes the things that you see in this game randomly, they just kind of shock you. But as you can see, we're on the home stretch for getting this guy into the actual outpost. Now we just need to not butcher our driving, and we'll have the guy there. This is actually like a perfect river for ice boating too. It's just like nice, big, flat, and completely frozen. I really do love ice boats. They're just super fun. But yeah, I just need to get this guy all the way up there. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. Okay, so this is actually a little bit more difficult than it looks. Yes, this is defying all physics, but I mean, who cares? It's Minecraft. So the boat does kind of like follow you when you're leaning over the edge. Like I can kind of get it to come around here, but then it kind of overshoots sometimes. Oh my god, this is very difficult. I just don't want the lead to like break and then the guy to fall like 40 blocks, because that would be terrible. So let's try and get him on top of this little platform right here. Oh, you're so close. Don't suffocate. Come on now. You got this. Home stretch, man. Home stretch. Don't go around the backside. What are you doing? I swear, they can control the boat themselves too. That makes everything a little bit more chaotic. Come on now. You got this. There we go. Look at that. You're a professional. And then you just do one last bunny hop for good measure. Cool. And what are you doing now? Literally, what are you doing? Okay, just get up here, and then we'll just worry about your behavior later on. Jeez, oh my god, come on now, come on. Jeez, just one block higher. You've been bunny hopping this whole time. Get one block higher. There we go. Oh my god, this is stressful. So getting him on top of the outpost was actually the difficult part. Getting him all the way to the very top of the farm should be fairly straightforward, because he just kind of sits on the scaffolding, as you can see there. Not really too big of a deal. It just works pretty well, actually. So we got him to our first little platform. We just need to get him up to that second platform and then all the way up to the very top. Okay, so we are officially on the home stretch. He needs to be sitting basically right about there. And yeah, it looks like he's actually gonna be doing fairly well on that front. Sweet. So I just need to get him up like a block further without getting into that kill chamber there. And it looks like he's actually on the correct level. Excellent. So now we need to get him out of that boat. And I swear, if he jumps off this platform and dies, I am not gonna be, you know, too thrilled about that. Let's just say that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and build in a little box around this area, maybe detach my lead so I don't shove him off the edge. Okay, so he's out. That wasn't too big of a deal, and now he needs to link to that bed and then sleep in that bed. Also, I just realized the scaffolding. Hey, there we go. Okay, I guess we don't need to worry about that. Awesome. So now we're just gonna go ahead and completely encase him in this little thing, and then when he wakes up, he should be standing right above the actual pillow of the bed, right in that area, and he should never be able to get out. No pillagers should ever be able to spawn up here and kill him, and this would be our raid farm completely done at this point, which is pretty awesome. As you can see, it's really not that big of a deal to actually build this thing up in survival mode. Of course, I like designed the thing, however, like, I'm still changing it on the fly. I haven't done any previous testing in creative for the changes that we've made today, so just kind of going for it. I do need to go ahead and remove the blocks underneath this bed because those will definitely spawn pillagers on them. Basically, pillagers spawn on literally anything and everything that they possibly can, and it will cause an absolute headache for you. So you can't have anything else up here with this farm. Like even that glass block, that's gonna cause issues. So it is finally time. I have double checked absolutely everything with this farm and it seems like it's perfectly ready to go. I hope nothing breaks. But let's go ahead and turn on the actual trident killer. That should kill any of these banner guys. And then we're just gonna go all the way up to the very top AFK platform right here. This should be close enough to that villager that as soon as one of the guys dies from that trident killer, we'll get the bad omen effect. That will trigger the raid and all of the raiders should be forced to spawn on top of that platform, immediately pushed into this kill chamber. And then we can just turn on this little bit of a trident killer right up here. So flick that lever, and that's actually very, very loud, is it? You know what? We can actually improve this slightly. Let's go ahead and put a couple of items into there. And there we go, now it's a little bit more quiet. You can kind of see the circuit there. It's like an observer clock powering a couple droppers, a couple observers powering these things. You gotta make this in a very specific way, otherwise the raiders will spawn on it. So this is very, very laggy right now. Wow, I'm glad I caught that. Yeah, so the realm is experiencing mild lag with 3 people online, and there we go. We just got ourselves some bad omen. Finally, I've actually been waiting around for a while for that to happen. I think the other players online are taking up the mob cap. However, we should see the raid actually spawn up there. We got some more bad omen too. Finally, this thing is working, and look at that. They all spawn right up there. This is excellent. And if we hold ourselves a looting sword, which of course we are, then we're actually going to be getting the, you know, the like looting effect applied to these pillagers. We're actually getting like a ton of bad omen right now. This is awesome. So perfect. This is going to be way more efficient. The pillagers down there that actually give us bad omen, they're going to be alive for much less time, and that's going to make this thing significantly more efficient. We can stand in this corner, get all of this experience, and yeah, this is going to be working very, very well. As you can see, it does not take very long to farm these waves at all. I think in total, with just the standard farm, it takes about 3 minutes to farm an entire raid. Start to finish. Most of that time is, of course, the raid just powering up, as you can see at the top of the screen. I think this new improvement is going to take that down significantly, and it should significantly boost the amount of emeralds that we get every hour too. There's the first beast. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, this thing is working perfectly. I love it. I'm so excited that this thing is working. We've been needing a raid farm for a long, long time. We already got 23 emeralds from that. That's awesome. We're going to, you know, of course, store and sort out all of that storage. Probably in the next episode, we're going to be unenchanting all of that iron gear, smelting it down for the iron, and it's going to be excellent. This is going to be a good source of gunpowder too, as you can see from the witches that we get with every raid. So overall, pretty excellent. We're going to be getting a ton of levels from this thing too, and in general, I'm just really, really happy with this. Just, God, it's just great. I love it. It's so nice. I'm gonna AFK over here for a little while and see if everything works out perfectly. I think it will. And we just finished the first wave. I did kind of pick up some of these tridents, which is a mild flaw in the system. However, as you can see, we did get ourselves the actual hero of the village effect. It's not really practical or useful at all on the Bedrock edition, since the guys that don't throw items to you, and that guy up there is a butcher, so I really don't care for his trades. But overall, as you can see, this thing is working very well, and we got ourselves this entire chest of loot from that one raid. Look at that, a stack and 42 of emeralds, got some gunpowder from that, and of course all 5 totems because we are playing on hard difficulty, so they drop a lot more totems. But yeah, this is absolutely excellent. We're gonna need a ton of storage, just so much storage for this, because these things really drop a lot of different things, including enchantment books, all that iron gear, and tons of emeralds, since we're gonna be using looting. That's why this truly is like the best raid farm on the Bedrock edition, because it's the only one that does looting. All the other ones are fully, you know, AFK, just with guys dying on magma blocks, but yeah, those don't really cut it. Okay, so this is like our 4th or 5th raid at this point, and everything's been going off without a hitch. Everything's been working perfectly fine, getting raids really close back to back. I think the Trident Killer down there at the bottom is definitely helping with that, and this should be the final guy of this raid too, and look at how much experience there is in there. I haven't picked up any of the experience from this raid farm since I started this raid, and there we go. So when we pick that up, that should completely repair our axe, or, you know, apparently not, because we're wearing all of our mending armor. That makes sense, but it turns out that you can just stand like over here and up by a couple of blocks, and that will give you all of the experience from the farm. You don't need to stand in the corner, which is what I originally thought when I did the tutorial. And when you're standing in that corner, you can of course pick up the tridents. It's kind of a whole big deal. Occasionally, super rarely, a guy might be able to hit you. So yeah, standing over here is definitely an improvement too. So overall, pretty small things. However, they do add up to make a much more efficient raid farm. And let's just go down here and see what crap we got from this. So far, we have this entire double chest. We're gonna get rid of these saddles because nobody needs saddles. We'll smelt all this stuff down eventually, but we're also getting some really, really good enchantment books from this. Like we already got Smite 4, Unbreaking, Fortune 3, Infinity, another Unbreaking, some Quick Charge, absolutely insane items from this thing. And we have so many emeralds already too. This thing is absolutely killer. If you have not seen this video, again, what are you doing with your life? That thing has nearly 1 million views, which is just totally like mind-blowing. But yeah, definitely build one of these things in your world. They're super easy, they are super powerful, and they're just like great for literally everything ever. So I do have one more little secret to tell you guys about why we chose this particular outpost, because you know, it's maybe not the greatest area. You got all these trees and stuff around, but to be honest, this is the absolute best outpost on the entire server. The reason being is because it's in a snowy tundra biome. Now, there are a couple of quirks with the snowy tundra biome. First of all, they will only ever spawn strays. You will never see anything not a stray in a snowy tundra biome. If you do, it didn't spawn there. And also, they don't spawn a single mob underground. Literally nothing ever spawns underground in these snowy tundra biomes. So that means that we have to do absolutely no caving, and we never have to worry about lighting up the surface in this area either. The reason being is because the outposts actually count as a cave spawn, so we literally have to do no mob proofing at all. Maybe in this one little, like, you know, spruce area over there, but that's not a big deal because we're up here at this platform and nothing will ever spawn over there. So this is basically perfect because we have to do like no work. The only additional thing we have to do is put some signs inside of those water sources to prevent freezing. Other than that, absolutely perfect. If you can, I would highly recommend that you find yourself an outpost in a snowy tundra because it'll take so much less work and be so much more worthwhile. Okay, so I have filled up my little pockets with as much loot as I can possibly get, and this entire double chest down here is just completely full of amazing things. As you can see, these shovels are clearly worth keeping. But yeah, everything is just amazing. This farm is working perfectly, and I think that that's gonna do it for today's episode. Next episode, we need to get ourselves some actual proper storage for this thing. I think that's gonna be really fun because we have a lot of different stuff that we need to store. And yeah, this thing is just churning out super well, absolutely no issues. Thank you all very much for watching today's episode. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like on the video, maybe subscribe if you are new here, and definitely check out the raid farm tutorial. Link will be wherever you think it should be, and basically everywhere. But again, I will see you guys down in those comment sections, and in the next one, thank you so much for watching. I love your faces, and then there was silence.